The once peaceful world of Telltale's Walking Dead game was suddenly filling with chaos as Cloud Speed, the silent playable megalomaniac character from GTA 3, opened a portal to their world. With a mental look in his eyes, Cloud sending an explosive device and unleashed his nuclear wrath and unsuspectingly heading into the game world. The survivors of the zombie apocalypse watched in horror as Cloud hit the brand new vehicle and made his escape through the portal, disappearing into the unknown. As the timeline bomb ticked down, panic spread through the group as they realized the danger they were in. With a deafening roar, the bomb exploded, sending shockwaves rippling through the once familiar landscape. Buildings crumbled, trees were uprooted, and the very ground beneath their feet shook violently. The survivors were left reeling, trying to make sense of the devastation that had been wrought upon their world. As the dust settled, they began to realize that everything had changed. The once desolate streets were now filled with new dangers, new creatures, and twisted landscapes. The very fabric of their reality had been altered by Cloud Speed's actions, and they were left to navigate this new hostile world. But amidst the chaos and destruction, a glimmer of hope remained. The survivors banded together, determined to rebuild and adapt to their new surroundings. They knew they would have to fight harder than ever before to survive, but they were not willing to give up. And so, the fate of the surviving characters of Telltale's Walking Dead world remained uncertain. But one thing was for certain, they would not go down without a fight. In this new, twisted reality, they would have to rely on their wits, their courage, and their determination to overcome the challenges that lay ahead. And perhaps, in the face of adversity, they would find a strength they never knew they had. Nico Bellic, the war veteran immigrant and main playable character from Grand Theft Auto 4, found himself in a strange new world after riding a fight through a mysterious portal. As he looked around, he realized that he was in the midst of a zombie apocalypse, similar to the world of Telltale's Walking Dead game. But Nico was not one to be easily defeated. Using his skills and experience from his time in the military, he summoned an extraordinary explosive device that changed the nature of the world around him. The explosion caused a ripple effect, altering the very fabric of the zombie-infested world. As the dust settled, Nico found himself in a world that was drastically different from the one he had entered. The zombie apocalypse had been reduced, and survivors were now faced with a new reality. The once terrifying undead creatures were now few and far between, and survivors had chance at rebuilding their lives. Among the survivors were familiar faces from the Telltale's Walking Dead game. Clementine, the young girl who had faced unimaginable hardships, now had a chance at a brighter future. Lee, her mentor and protector, was still by her side, guiding her through this new world. As the survivors banded together to create a new society, Nico found himself drawn to their cause. His skills and expertise were invaluable in helping them navigate the challenges of this changed world. Together, they worked to build a new future, one where hope and resilience triumphed over despair. The world of Walking Dead had changed, becoming something other than a zombie apocalypse. And as the survivors forged ahead, they knew that they had Nico Bellic to thank for giving them a second chance at life. Character from Grand Theft Auto 4 found himself in a strange new world after riding a fight through a mysterious portal. As he looked around, he realized that he was in the midst of a zombie apocalypse, similar to the one he had experienced in Liberty City. But Nico was not one to be easily deterred. He quickly summoned an extraordinary explosive device that he had acquired during his time in the military. With a swift motion, he set the timer and watched as the explosive went off, changing the very nature of the world around him. As the dust settled, Nico found himself in a world that was drastically different from the one he had just left. The zombie apocalypse had been reduced, and survivors were now faced with a new reality. The once terrifying undead creatures were now few and far between, and survivors had a chance to rebuild their lives. Among the survivors were familiar faces from Telltale's Walking Dead game. Clementine, the young girl who had faced so much hardship, now found herself in a world where the threat of the undead was no longer prevalent. She was able to focus on her own survival and the well-being of those around her. Lee, the man who had taken Clementine under his wing, was relieved to see that the world had changed for the better. He could now focus on protecting people he cared about without the constant fear of being overrun by zombies. Kenny, the tough survivor who had lost so much, found a renewed sense of hope in his new world. He was able to start fresh and build a new life for himself and those he cared about. As the survivors banded together to rebuild their world, Nico Bellic watched from a distance, knowing that he had played a crucial role in changing the fate of these characters. He rode up into the sunset on his bike, confident in the knowledge that he had made a difference in this new world that had been shaped by his actions. The war veteran immigrant and main playable character from Grand Theft Auto 4 found himself in a strange new world after riding a fight through a mysterious portal. As he looked around, he realized that he was in the midst of a zombie apocalypse, similar to the one he had seen in the video game world of Grand Theft Auto. But Nico was not one to be easily deterred. He quickly summoned an extraordinary explosive device that he had acquired during his time in Liberty City. With a swift motion, he set the explosive and watched as it detonated, changing the very nature of the world around him. As the dust settled, Nico found himself in a world that was drastically different from the one he had entered. The zombie apocalypse had been reduced, and survivors were now faced with a new reality. The once terrifying hordes of the undead had been diminished, and survivors were left to rebuild and adapt to their new surroundings. Among the survivors were familiar faces from the Telltale's Walking Dead game, including Clementine, Lee, and Kenny. They were shocked by the sudden change in their world, but they were grateful for the chance to start anew. With Nico's help, they began to explore their new world, discovering that it was not just a post-apocalyptic wasteland, but a place filled with hope and potential. The survivors worked together to build a new community, free from the constant threat of the undead. As time passed, the survivors found themselves facing new challenges and dangers, but they were determined to overcome them. With Nico by their side, they were able to navigate the treacherous landscape and forge a new future for themselves. The world of The Walking Dead had changed, becoming something other than a zombie apocalypse. And the fates of the surviving characters were forever altered, as they embraced their new reality and worked together to create a better world for themselves and future generations.